Hello there. Today we're back in Greenville taking a look at 5 very special cars that actually feature a very cool feature called active aero, or active aerodynamics if you want to go for the fancy term. So in short, in Greenville or in real life, active aero is basically when a part of a car, maybe it be a rear spoiler, diffuser, maybe a front lip, moves around when you either press a button on the interior of the car, go over a certain speed, take a corner too hard. All those kinds of things can trigger active aero if your car has it, and these very cool 5 cars in Greenville do have them. So let's get right into it here. We're starting off here with a Volkswagen Beetle, which would probably be one of the last cars you would expect to have active aero. That's better known as the 2003 Wolfsburg New Classic in the Turbo S trim. This thing sounds pretty good. It doesn't look great because it's kind of basic, but that's whatever. So once we get above, let's see what speed it is. Most of the time it's 70 miles an hour, but I think here it's 45. So pay attention to this little piece right here. Let me make it earlier in the day. There we go. So pay attention to that piece at the top there. Once we get to 45 there, you guys can see that rear spoiler up there, or roof spoiler I guess you could call it, actually pop up, which will trigger more downforce. It'll help you brake faster. Now Greenville doesn't do anything except for look cool, but for a Volkswagen Beetle, that's super surprising to have active aero, especially in 2003. That was like a brand spanking new thing back in 2003. So that is pretty cool. Very small feature, but I think some people here and there will notice it, and some people here and there will appreciate it. Next up, we have the 2022 Celestial Type 5, or the Tesla Model S Plaid, and this one is more well known than Volkswagen Beetles. This thing is extremely fast, so we're gonna accelerate here and pay attention to this piece. You guys can see there once. Holy crap! So this spoiler is actually even cooler. So I guess I changed it. This one is 60. So once you get to 60 in this car, the rear spoiler there pops up, and then if you get to speeds even faster, like 130, it pops up even further, so now you have a massive rear spoiler. And then if you brake really hard, you guys can see that the spoiler actually tilts almost like totally vertical to enable, I don't know what the word is, to give you the most amount of downforce possible, which, like I said, doesn't do anything in Greenville, but it's still really cool to actually have that feature. So let's do that one more time. We'll get to 60, 130, and then we'll brake really hard. So there's 90, and then we'll just go to 200 and brake really hard. So there you go. You can see the spoiler. Once we got to 200, surprisingly, the spoiler actually popped down from the highest position, but it's still cool. Then we have the 2022 Ferdinand Rapido Coupe. This one is in the Carrera trim, but the Turbo S trim, which I'll show you guys, also has active aero. Again, this is surprising for a base model to have active aero, but once you get above 70 miles per hour there, you can see basically the whole rear end kind of lifts up. And this thing is even more detailed than the other cars, because this little feature right here, it's kind of hard to tell, but that little gasket there actually pops up as well. So the attention to detail on this thing is pretty insane. I know our Porsche 911 in real life also has that same thing. So I'll do that one more time. You guys can see there, that goes up. Great attention to detail, to be totally honest. That's really cool, and for a base model, that is even cooler. Alrighty, guys, so that was the Porsche 911 Turbo S. Now, next up on our list here is the 2018 Audi R8 Coupe. Now, I just have mine in the base trim, just because that's the only trim with active Aero, or the Le Mans. The Plus, or the Performance trim, I don't believe has active Aero. But on this thing, it's actually really small, so the Aero is surprisingly small. Again, when you hit 70 miles an hour, it's just that little tiny spoiler that shows up. And while it's small, it still looks really, really good. And then if you brake, whoa. If you brake, it's not as advanced as the Plaid, but when you brake, it just goes back down. So that is the 2018 Audi R8, and then finally we have the 2021 Stuttgart Vortorig, or Viertorig. I don't know, I'm trying to say it with an accent so it sounds better. I have this one in the 53 Tour trim. If you get any trim lower, I'm pretty sure that you don't get the active Aero, because I tried this with the 43 trim, and you didn't get the active Aero, but on this trim you do get the active Aero. So 53 Tour, something like that. 53 and up, you get the active Aero. So once you hit 50 miles an hour, you guys can see that spoiler pop up. Looks really cool, and then when you hit, I guess, 70, 75 miles an hour, it goes into an even higher position. So great attention to detail. And then as you brake, again, not as advanced as it does Model S Plaid, so it just goes right back down. But it still is cool that it has two different modes. That is pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. With that said though, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, please consider subscribing. Go join the Discord server, MC Carkid Fan server, link will be in the description and in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.